It is rightly said. A book is a garden, an orchard, a storehouse, a party, a company, by the way, and is indeed a magical gift that turns you into a creative mind. A very good evening, Reverend Brother Shajan Anthony, our principal, our academic coordinators, Miss Albinia ma'am, Miss Marianne ma'am, and Miss Annaman ma'am, teachers, and my dear friends. I welcome you all to a one of a kind, interactive, and super fun storytelling day that will reiterate to us the importance of reading being so much fun. True prayer is neither a mere mental exercise nor a vocal performance. It is the spiritual transaction with God Himself. On this wonderful note, I invite Anshika to lead us in prayer.
Dear God, thank you for this wonderful day in our lives. Thank you for getting all of us together this evening for this interactive session. Grant us the knowledge and wisdom from the books that we read. Help us explore new books. Direct our paths and teach us the right things to do. Bless our principal, Sergeant Anthony, and guide him. Bless our parents and teachers. Guide us in the right path. All this we ask in thy precious name. Amen.
Thank you, Anshika, for that meaningful prayer. As we have gathered here today for this interesting, interactive storytelling session conducted by the Reading Forum of our school, I request Shruti Nidhi to give us a glimpse of our wonderful Reading Forum.
Warm greetings to one and all present here. Today, I take this wonderful opportunity to welcome you all to this interactive session. The more that you read, the more things you will know. The more that you will learn, the more places you will go. It's been 2 years since the Reading Forum was initiated in our school formally, and ever since, it has provided us with a new enthusiasm and zeal to read books and enjoy them. This new club introduced in our school has encouraged students to interact with each other, express our views, and discuss reviews on the books we read. The modus operandi of our club was to gather in the school auditorium and to read books assigned to us, to our respective groups, and to discuss among us. To me, reading is like shifting out of this world into my exciting book whenever I feel sad, happy, or excited. The teachers of our reading club have made our sessions very fun, and even the virtual interactions and our competitions were loads of fun. Good books inform you, enlighten you, and lead you in the right direction. There is no better companion than a good book. Once you start reading, you experience a whole new world. Then you start loving it, and eventually you get addicted to it and spend most of your time reading, which is very beneficial to you. Earlier, I had never really enjoyed reading as much. Now, I read books to relax and reduce stress. The habit of reading is one of the best qualities a person can possess. Books are known to be your best friend for a reason. We are very excited to be a part of this amazing club and look forward to yet another amazing and enlightening year ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Shruti, for explaining to us about the Reading Forum. We surely feel that this forum will help the students improve many skills and become creative minds. We have a very special person amongst us today who is here to take us down a memorable day. I request Annaman ma'am to introduce our guest for today.
Good evening, Ms. Talitha Matthew, our guest and resource person of the day, Reverend Brother Shajan Anthony, our principal, Ms. Albinia Angelos and Ms. Marianne, our academic coordinators, members of the staff, and dear students, the members of the Reading Forum. It gives me great pleasure to be a part of today's program because I believe that one of the marvelous adventures that anyone can have in life is reading. Thank you, Shruti Nidhi, for enlightening us about the Reading Forum and its activities and how interested you are in reading after you joined the Reading Forum. I appreciate the efforts of all the teachers, both in the primary section and in the high school, who as coordinators of the forum have taken and are taking a proactive role in making it such an enjoyable experience for our students. I hope and pray that many more students realize the value of reading and inculcate this priceless habit. To inspire and motivate our students, we have with us today Ms. Talitha Matthew, who so willingly responded to our invitation to address our students. Ms. Talitha Matthew had her schooling in Secunderabad and lived for several years in our city. She worked in Hyderabad as a journalist for the Indian Express. She is a prolific writer and designed a weekly page for children and also wrote a story every week for many years. Now that is really outstanding because I'm sure most of you know how difficult it is to write even one page. She taught English at the British School in Colombo during her stay in Sri Lanka. She has been associated with the British Council for over 12 years. A connoisseur of the English language, she conducts webinars, writes poems, and just loves the language. Now she lives in Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala, and is connected with us from there. She leads a very busy life there, involved in multifarious activities. And we're so happy that you could join us in spite of your busy schedule. She loves talking to and listening to children and says she's very happy to connect with the students and teachers of Little Flower High School and be back in her twin cities of Hyderabad and Secunderabad, where she lived once upon a time, even if it's only on a virtual platform. Miss Talitha Matthew is an excellent storyteller. And when you listen to her, dear children, you will be transported to another world. Thank you very much, Ms. Talitha Matthew, for being with us today. And I salute your incredible passion and energy. Dear children, as you listen to Ms. Talitha Matthew today, you will realize that she will not only tell you how to think, but she will give you food for thought. I now invite Ms. Talitha Matthew to take us through the session. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. It's great to meet the students, teachers, and parents. Some parents, I guess, are in the background of Little Flower School. I heard that you had a reading forum. Annie, ma'am, and Sana of the reading forum told me that this is all part of an effort to get students interested in reading again. However, most of the students who have spoken so far seem very interested in reading already. And as they said, I studied in Secunderabad now many years back, and later I worked in Hyderabad. So it's really a great pleasure for me to be back in the Twin Cities, of course, virtually. Today, I'm here not to tell you to read because you will get a lot of information from books, although you will. And I'm not here to tell you to read because books can improve your vocabulary and your grammar, although of course they can do that. I would just like to say that one of the main reasons for reading is that reading is very enjoyable. Yes, reading is fun. You want to meet new people, want to hear stories with a difference, want to laugh out loud or feel a sudden thrill, want to go to distant lands, cross a desert or climb a mountain, want to go into space and orbit Jupiter or Mars? Well, you don't have to go anywhere, just stay where you are. Just open a book and let the excitement begin. So today, I have a special guest, my dear friend, Boodle the bookworm. Boodle has never been to Hyderabad before, and he's very happy to see all of you today. So let me introduce you. Okay, so let me introduce you to Boodle. Now, you may wonder what a bookworm is. Boodle's family are real bookworms. They love to nibble paper and chew up books. But Boodle loves to read books. And he is joining us here today to tell you why. Now, I'm sure that many of you, children, students, teachers, and parents as well, love to play games on your mobile phones and watch cartoons or movies on TV. So in your chat box, which is up here, can you type in what you like to do in your spare time? We have some options here. So all you need to do is to put down the number. 1, for playing outdoor games. 2, watching movies on TV. 3, video games, and so forth. If you have other activities, then you might want to mention them. Okay, so we've got a few responses. Reading comics, playing outdoor games, reading books, calligraphy. Wow, Abhikriti, that's great. Calligraphy, reading books, comics and books. Taveshi Chabra likes watching movies on TV. So a lot of you seem to like reading books, good. Abdul Karim, you love playing outdoor games. Cricket, I guess. 3 and 6. 3 and 6. Playing video games and reading books. Okay. 6, 5. Okay. So there are lots of 5s and 6s. Playing video games on TV. 1, 5, 6, 7. Listening and singing music. Okay, so now you've started mentioning your other activities, art and craft, drawing, basketball, do craft, drawing crafts. Okay, so let's move on. So many of you said you liked most of the options that were presented, and there may be some of you who enjoy reading, and there were quite a few, sorry. So that's why I thought you would like to meet my friend Boodle, who loves reading books. So here's what Boodle has to say. Hi, all of you. I'd like to tell you why I love reading books. I love to listen to something new, and I love to listen to stories. And I just love meeting interesting characters. Characters, you know, are the people we find in books. Just to give you an example, have you heard about a cat called Macavity? Okay, so now Boodle is going to introduce us to Macavity, the mystery cat.
So let me introduce you to Macavity, the mystery cat. Macavity is a mystery cat. He's called the Hidden Paw, for he's the master criminal who can defy the law. He's the battlement of Scotland Yard, the flying squad's despair, for when they reach the scene of crime, Macavity's not there. Macavity, Macavity, there's no one like Macavity. He's broken every human law. He breaks the law of gravity. His powers of levitation would make a fakir stare. And when you reach the scene of crime, Macavity is not there. You may seek him in the basement, you may look up in the air, but I tell you once and once again, Macavity is not there.
Okay, so now I just want to tell you right off that Macavity isn't a role model, right? He's a mystery cat and he's a master criminal. He's the bafflement of Scotland Yard. He puzzles the detectives of Scotland Yard. For whenever they reach the scene of crime, they know that Macavity has had a hand in it. He's called the Hidden Paw. You know why he's called the Hidden Paw and not the Hidden Hand? Because it's all about paws and claws, right? And he's broken every human law. He breaks the law of gravity. Now, let me briefly explain how. He's got these superpowers, right? He seems to have powers of levitation. Okay, just like the holy men of India used to have, they can just sort of rise up without any visible means of support, something like a gas balloon or a hydrogen balloon. So Macavity seems to rise up and then vanish. And wherever you look for him, whether it's in the basement, you may seek him in the basement, look up in the air, but wherever you look, Macavity's not there. He's a master escape artist. A little more about Macavity.
We don't have the time today to read the whole poem about Macavity. Now, it was T.S. Eliot who wrote about Macavity in his lovely little book, Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats. There's a lot about other cats in this book, and you may find it in your school library. Anyway, now let's read a little more about Macavity. Now you see on this slide, the Secret Service, or maybe some policeman, hunting high and low for Macavity. And you can see him up there, flying across the sky. Now let's read a little more about Macavity. And when the Foreign Office finds a treatise gone astray, or the Admiralty lose some plans and drawings by the way, there may be a scrap of paper in the hall or on the stair. But it's useless to investigate. Macavity is not there. And when the loss has been disclosed, the Secret Service say it must have been Macavity, but he's a mile away. You'll be sure to find him resting or licking off his thumbs or engaged in doing complicated long division sums. Macavity, Macavity, there's no one like Macavity. There never was a cat of such deceitfulness and suavity. He always has an alibi and one or two to spare. At whatever time the deed took place, Macavity wasn't there. And they say that all the cats whose wicked deeds are widely known, I might mention Mungo Jerry, I might mention Griddlebone, are nothing more than agents for the cat who all the time just controls their operations, the Napoleon of crime.
Okay, so Macavity is called the Napoleon of crime, and there are lots of cats who are as wicked as he is. One such cat is Mungo Jerry, and another has got a very sinister name, Griddlebone. Say it to yourself and see how weird that sounds. So wherever the poor Secret Service or the flying squad land up, they're sure that Macavity had a hand in it. Whenever some matter of national security is breached, for instance, a treaty has gone astray, or the Admiralty lose some plans of ships or submarines, drawings of all these things, there might be some clues, a paper here, a paper there, but there's no point in looking it up because Macavity is not there. And here are some of the things that he does in his spare time: resting, licking his thumbs, or engaged in doing complicated long division sums. So maybe he's a mathematical brain as well. Okay, so actually there's a song in the movie Cats, which goes, Macavity, Macavity, there's no one like Macavity. So if you feel like, you can look it up. I didn't feel I could sing the song today. So now, let's go on. It's time to say goodbye to Macavity because we have other stuff to do today.
So now let's say goodbye to Macavity. You know that if you want, you can read all about him in T.S. Eliot's book about cats, Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats. Goodbye, Macavity. Ho, ho, ho! You may look for me, but you won't find me, because I'm Macavity, the mystery cat.
Okay, and with that, he vanishes. Now, just for fun, let's do a quick quiz on Macavity. Let's see what you can remember, and you can put this down in the chat box. We won't go too fast. Okay, Macavity is a mystery cat. What's he called? Just write the number and the answer in the chat box. Sorry, for he is the dash dash who can defy the law. The third one, he's broken every human law. An example of a law that he's broken. Can you remember two other cats who are wicked, just like Macavity? Wow, the chat box is very busy, I must say. And in which book can you read about Macavity and other practical cats? So I'll just take a very quick look at the chat box. Good. Almost everything is here. Okay. So I have a feeling that the only little thing that's that you may not have remembered was the book. This most of you got. So give yourselves a pat on the back and a tick, for he's the master criminal who can defy the law. I think you all got that. The law of gravity, that's right. Remember, he can just go up like a balloon goes up. Mangojerry and Griddlebone. I don't remember. I think some of you, yes. Griddlebone and yeah, okay, even if there's a little spelling mistake in Mangojerry, that's fine. And then the last one is this. In which book can you read about Macavity and other practical cats? This is the book, Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats. T.S. Eliot never really explains why he calls them practical cats as opposed to impractical cats. But anyway, it's just for fun. If you read it, you'll read about lots of other very, very interesting cats. Mangojerry, of course. Then you have Growl Tiger. Then you have Old Deuteronomy. And you have lots and lots of cats. It's really fun. Okay, now let's... I'd like to introduce you to another of my favorite characters. Meet Jonathan Livingston Seagull. He was no ordinary bird, and Richard Bach wrote a story. So what was special about Jonathan, you might ask? While the rest of his flock and family of seagulls spent their lives flying from the shore to catch fish around the boats and piers and back to shore again, Jonathan spent all his time practicing flying. So you see what he says here, the speech bubble or the thought bubble. I love to fly. Jonathan loved to fly. He made hundreds of low-level glides experimenting. His mother was upset. Why, John, why? Why is it so hard to be like the rest of the flock? Have any of you heard your mother say anything like that? And father scolded him. This flying business is all very well, but you can't eat a glide, you know. Don't you forget that the reason you fly is to eat. Jonathan did try to listen, but he couldn't follow their advice. It's all so pointless, he thought. I could be spending all this time learning to fly. There's so much to learn. And we've asked some of your schoolmates to read a few bits from this story of Jonathan Livingston Seagull. So here goes. Sibha, Advik, Vidisha, and Ritvik. Just 1 minute, I wanted to remind you that while you learn English, geography, history, chemistry, maths, and so forth, what was Jonathan's subject? His subject was speed. Okay, so now let's head off. Sibha, would you like to start? You'll have to unmute yourself, right? Where is
Yes, ma'am.
Sana? Is Sibha going to read?
She's right there, ma'am. She just needs to see the slide.
Oh, right. Sorry. I'm so sorry. The slide has, I thought you wanted me to stop.
Not yet.
Screen,
Not yet.
screen share. Okay, one second. Right. Oh, she's going to read it from the slide, right? Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. It wasn't long before Jonathan Gull was off by himself again, far out at sea, hungry, happy, learning. The subject was speed, and in a week's practice, he learned more about speed than the fastest gull alive. From 1,000 feet, flapping his wings as hard as he could, he pushed over into a blazing steep dive towards the waves.
Advait?
Time after time it happened. Careful as he was, working at the very peak of his ability, he lost control at high speed, at 90 miles per hour. Jonathan had set a world speed record for seagulls.
But victory was short-lived. The instant he began his pull-out, the instant he changed the angle of his wings, he snapped into the same terrible uncontrolled disaster. And at 90 miles per hour, it hit him like dynamite. Jonathan smashed down into a brick-hard sea.
But by sunup, Jonathan Gull was practicing again. From 5,000 feet, the fishing boats were specks in the flat blue water. Breakfast flock was a faint cloud of dust motes circling. He was alive, trembling with delight. He was flying now straight down at 214 miles per hour.
Okay. So, just a moment. He was flying now straight down at 214 miles per hour. Okay, so you can just see that Jonathan was so crazy about speed. The speed was power, and the speed was joy, and the speed was pure beauty. He began his pull-out at 1,000 feet, the crowd of gulls tilting and growing meteor fast, directly in his path. He couldn't stop. Collision would be instant death. And so he shut his eyes. It happened that morning then, just after sunrise, the Jonathan Livingston seagull fired directly through the center of breakfast flock, taking off 212 miles per hour, eyes closed, in a great roaring shriek of wind and feathers. The gull of fortune smiled upon him this once, and no one was killed. So don't you think that is very interesting? Jonathan crashes into his flock at breakfast time. Luckily, no one is killed. What do you think happened to Jonathan? Did he crash? Was he injured? Did he die? No. What a surprise. Just in time, Jonathan pulls his beak up, changes direction, and soars up into the sky. His thought was triumph, terminal velocity. But do you imagine the other gulls were happy? What do you think? If your brother or if a friend of yours happened to bash or barge into your breakfast and send all your idli, dosa or puri bhaji flying, and if he sent you flying as well, do you think you'd be very happy? What do you think? So I don't think you'd be very happy, right? So just 1 second, this slideshow. So what do you think happened next to Jonathan?
Were the other gulls happy? Well, no, they were furious. They wanted to throw Jonathan out of the flock. What a shock for poor Jonathan. Now let's look at this dramatic scene, the trial before the council flock. Jonathan Livingston Seagull, said the elder, stand to center for shame in the sight of your fellow gulls. It felt like being hit by a board. Jonathan's knees went weak. His feathers sagged. There was a roaring in his ears. Centered for shame? Impossible. He would be cast out of Gull society, banished to a solitary life on the far cliffs. You shall learn that irresponsibility does not pay, said the elder Gull. A seagull never speaks back to the council, but it was Jonathan's voice raised. Irresponsibility? My brothers, he cried. Who is more responsible than a gull who finds and follows a meaning, a higher purpose for life? For 1,000 years, we have scrabbled after fishheads, but now we have a reason to live, to learn, to discover, to be free. Give me one chance. Let me show you what I found. The flock might well have been stoned. The brotherhood is broken, the gulls intoned together, and they turned their backs on him.
So just for a minute, could I ask the students to unmute yourselves and say with me on the count of 3 these words. Okay, let's say the brotherhood is broken. So I count 1, 2, 3.
The brotherhood is broken.
The brotherhood is broken.
Now let's time it. Let's time it a little better. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
The brotherhood is
Broken.
Brotherhood is broken.
Brotherhood is broken.
Okay, now can I just have Ritvik? Ritvik, can you unmute yourself? Ritvik, Vidisha, Advik, and Sibha. Just the 4 of you now unmute yourselves and now say this angrily. Okay, I'll give you the count again. Say it angrily. 1, 2, 3.
The brotherhood is broken.
Okay, so the point is
The brotherhood is broken.
okay, fine. So the basic point is, I just want you to think of poor Jonathan standing in the center of this circle of gulls. I think they must have been on the seashore. And all of them turn their backs upon him and they have thrown him out of their group. And they say that the flock, and they say that you're no longer a brother of ours. The brotherhood is broken. And now he's banished to a lonely, solitary life on the far cliffs. I just want you to think of what that meant for Jonathan. Because, you know, Jonathan wasn't, he wasn't a person who wanted to be on his own. He happened to be on his own because he wanted to fly and no one else wanted to fly. And now he's just been thrown out. So now let's see what happens next. I'm sure you understand now why reading is so interesting and so important. Would you like to know what happened to Jonathan Livingston Seagull? Okay, so now do you think he gave up high flying? Do you think he became a gull just like the others? Do you think he succeeded in becoming the fastest gull in the world? The plot or the full story of the main character, in this case Jonathan's adventures, is another big reason why children and grown-ups too love to read. We've already looked at character when we were thinking about Macavity. For example, if I were to ask you what sort of cat was Macavity, he was a ... cat. So can you think of at least three describing words about Macavity? And this time what you'll have to do is go into your chat. You'll find a little link there. Click on the link and then enter whatever describing words you can think of. But remember, there must be words which describe Macavity. If you say he's a saintly cat, then you can't agree. So carry on. Try
The
this.
link is up.
Yeah.
The link is up. Please click on the link and give your answers.
Do they know that they have to follow the right? Oh, great. Wow. Okay. So we've got a lot of words. What is Sana? This is called a speech bubble. Huh? what's it called? Okay. So now we've got a lot of words. Wow, practical cat, master criminal, suspicious, clever, smart, cute. I don't know how cute he was. Evil cat, naughty, intelligent, burglar-eyed. Yes, that's a very good observation if you look at his, look at that mask that he's wearing. Serious, interesting, suspicious and ugly. Oh my, I think he's quite a beautiful cat though. Criminal, suspicious, mystery. Okay, so that's great. I think you have, all of you in the reading forum, pat yourselves on the back. I think you have a great vocabulary, and we should congratulate your teachers who have been working with you for such a long time. I've got a few more. Okay, notorious, good, spoiled, invisible. Okay, masterminded, a mastermind, right? Okay, so shall we go back, Sana?
Sure, ma'am. I'll stop the screen share.
Okay. But no. Okay. No, I don't know. And now we are thinking about plot as a reason why we might learn to start reading or start reading more. We've already talked about character, and now we're thinking about plot. Today we don't have time for much more, but remember that we might learn something about ourselves in the pages of a book. And let's look again at what John tells the council flock. And this time let's read between the lines. You may wonder what this means, to read between the lines. So here's what it really means. What does it really mean? So let's look at what Jonathan said to the council flock. Who is more responsible than a gull who finds and follows a meaning, a higher purpose for life? For 1,000 years we have scrabbled after fish heads, but now we have a reason to live, to learn, to discover, to be free. So what does Jonathan really mean? Is he talking about us? But we are children, not seagulls, and we don't eat fish heads, do we? Now let's read between the lines. Look at the words in red and try to figure out what Jonathan is really telling the council flock and us. Okay, so supposing this is what it means. Who is more responsible than a gull or a human being who finds and follows a meaning, a higher purpose for life? For 1,000 years, century after century, we have scrabbled after fish heads or worked to earn food or good jobs or great, wonderful clothes or money. In Hindi, you know, they call these the basics, roti, kapda or makan. But now we have something more, a reason to live, to learn, to discover, to be free. So is this the meaning of what Jonathan was really saying? So as you might have noticed, as you read, lots of questions would pop up into your head. And here are some of them. Let's not look at all the questions. Let's just look at two. What would you like to learn? And what would you like to discover? This time, I'd like to ask you to go to reactions. Raise your hand, and then you can unmute yourselves and I'll call on you, and you can tell me what you would like to learn. I'd like to start by saying what I'd like to learn is how to rollerblade, but I'm a little scared to do that because I don't want to nosedive and have a fall. So you know where reactions is? The 3 dots, right?
Children, look down on the screen. Just beside share screen, you have an option reactions. Please click on that and then you can raise hand. Please don't unmute all of a sudden. Raise your hand. You will be called out. Then you unmute and speak.
Okay. So I see some names. Abdul Rafi, what would you like to learn? You have to unmute yourself. Can you unmute yourself, Abdul?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So which question are you planning to answer?
Ma'am, what would you like to discover?
All right, great. What would you like to discover? So,
Ma'am, I would like to discover that the world needs something.
okay, something that the world needs, great. And what would you like to learn, Abdul? Okay, let's move on to Haider Hussain. Haider, could you unmute, please?
Ma'am, this is my brother's name. So
Ah.
I'm Kulsum, ma'am.
Your name is?
Kulsum, ma'am.
Okay, fine, fine. Okay, Kulsum. What would you like to learn, Kulsum?
I like to learn that how a mother knows how to do all the work of the house.
You'd like to learn how to do all the work of the house.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good, good.
I would like to discover how a doctor knows what diseases, what the patient has, what disease.
Oh, wow. Do you want to be a doctor, Kulsum?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, okay, right. Let's move on, Shruti.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I would love to learn how to play a guitar.
Okay, great. What would you like to discover?
I would like to discover something that would help for the protection of girls.
Okay, that's wonderful. You have any ideas?
Not exactly.
Okay, right. But anyway, that's a good thing to know. Right. Sibha,
Yes, ma'am.
what would you
Ma'am,
like
I
to
would like to learn about different places, to travel to different places and learn about them.
Okay, that's wonderful. What would you like to discover?
Ma'am, discover some new related to science, something to discover which can make our education system better.
Okay, great. Aditi, could you unmute, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you video sharing, Aditi?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you could though. All right. Anyway, so what's your answer? What would you like to learn?
Ma'am, I would love to learn music, ma'am, and sing all my favorite songs.
And anything you'd like to discover?
Ma'am, I want to discover something that helps the nature, to preserve our nature.
Oh, wow. You're an environmentalist, huh?
Something of that sort.
Okay. Advik?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I would like to learn the depth of everything that we have learned until now. Like everything Mother Nature has taught us, everything our teachers have taught us, everything we are about to learn too. And I would like to discover something which the world really needs now. That is true leadership, ma'am.
True leadership. Okay, that's great. Ashrit, could you unmute, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Why can't we see your face? You don't want to video share?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I can see you. Right.
Ma'am, I want to learn the musical instruments.
Great. Which ones?
Ma'am, guitar.
Right. And what, would you like to discover something special?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Aaron?
Ma'am, right now I would like to learn how to make the perfect tea.
Perfect tea. Okay. Why?
Yes, ma'am.
You like tea so much?
Not really, ma'am, but for my family members, maybe.
Okay, very sweet of you. Very kind of you. I hope they're listening in.
Yes, ma'am, I guess.
Right. And what would you like to discover?
Ma'am, maybe the perfect ingredients for the tea.
Okay. Ananya, could you unmute?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I would like to learn about the Mother Nature, this beautiful planet Earth.
Okay.
And as for what I would like to discover, I would like to discover about the life in the outside of this world, like in this universe. No one knows whether there is life or not. So I want to discover about that.
Okay, that's wonderful. And right, Ritu?
Ma'am, I would like to learn how to bring smiles on our faces, ma'am, on people's faces, ma'am.
Sorry, Ritu, could you repeat that? I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
Ma'am, I would learn how to bring smiles on our people's faces, ma'am.
Oh, wow, okay. How to bring smiles on people's faces. Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I would like to be a blessing for others.
Okay. Who is speaking?
Ma'am, Erin Akili.
Okay. Right. So those who have already put their hands up, maybe you should put your hands down, because otherwise the others won't be seen, right? Have we gone? I think we've gone through the list. Is there anybody who would like to speak? Anyone? Abdul Rafe?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you want to say anything more?
No, ma'am, by mistake.
Okay, no problem. Okay, I'm surprised none of you said you wanted to discover a cure for corona.
Ma'am, can I come?
Yeah, sure.
Ma'am, I would like to learn how to become an astronaut.
Okay, great.
And I would like to discover a vaccine for corona and all future viruses.
Okay, that's a wonderful thing. Vidisha, did you raise your hand?
Ma'am, I'd like to learn to cook.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure. Can hear you.
Ma'am, I'd like to cook, as Aaron previously stated.
Yeah.
And I'd also like to discover the secrets to writing, because it is a very hard thing to do sometimes.
Okay. Wow. Great. So you want to be a great cook and a great writer as well, right? Okay, so now let's move on. Now I'm leaving these two questions with you. You can think about it. Are you free now, and are you free to do what really makes you happy? Let's move on. Okay, so now Boodle says he loves to read. I love to read, he says. And Jonathan, as you know, he always says, I love to fly. Now let's put these together and we learn to read so that we can learn to fly. But before we say goodbye to Boodle and Jonathan, let's look at two little words. To fly. So here we have some definitions of what it means to fly. I mean, we're not birds. We can't actually fly unless we're flying in a plane. So this, it could be 1, to rise above the earth, 2, to take off and be free, 5, to learn without any limit, 6, to travel far and wide and have new experiences, 3, to be different from the rest of the flock, and 4, to break the speed record, to chase excellence. This, I think, is again in chat. You have to follow a little link, and you will find a space for your answer. Just take one of these options, whatever you feel is closest to your definition. And if you have your own ideas, we'll talk about that later. Okay, have we reached the end of our responses? Okay, so this is quite interesting that so many of you thought that to fly means to learn without any limit. I'm sure your teachers would be quite thrilled about that. And then there are a couple of you who say you want to be different from the rest of the flock. Just before we go on, I want to say that to be different from the rest of the flock or even your family doesn't mean that you reject your family, right? So Jonathan, for example, he wanted to be free, but he also wanted what was best for his family and the rest of the flock. He wasn't just a bird who went me, me, me. He loved his parents and his family, and he wanted them to share the excitement of flying. He wasn't a selfish bird. So just a little a note about being different from the rest of the flock. Then 4, you have to take off and be free. I'm sure we all want to do that at times. To travel far and wide and to rise above the earth. Both have the same number of responses. And strange, not so many of you want to break the speed record to chase excellence. But that is what our athletes have been doing, right? In the Tokyo Olympics. So are we done? Are there any more responses, Sana? We're done with that, right?
I think pretty much everybody has answered, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So we'll go back to this last slide. Okay. So, yeah, I was talking about your own ideas. Now, if you have some ideas of your own, I don't think we have time today to deal with that. But what I thought is if you have some of your own ideas about what it means to fly, please jot it down. Later, you might like to sketch, to write a poem or write a short essay about what you think it means. Share it with your teachers, or you can email it to me. Sana or Annie ma'am will have my email. And I promise to write back. There are lots of other things you can do. You can find out the world speed records for different races and events. If you're not already watching the Tokyo Olympics, you might like to watch some of the more interesting events. Look at the records for other games and events. And also you can Google fun facts like which is the fastest bird, the fastest animal, the fastest mammal, and so forth. And you can have a little quiz in your classroom. As for science students, I didn't realize, no, I've read this Jonathan Livingston Seagull a long time back. But now when I was reading about it, I found myself trying to check up on things like this. The meaning of terminal velocity. At what point does acceleration become zero? I am not a science student, I must repeat. What is air resistance? What is drag? Okay, and then I Googled the speed of sound, which if you want to know is 761 miles per hour. And there are lots of other things you can find out. What is Mach 1, Mach 2, what's a sonic boom? And all this will take you into the field of physics, aeronautics. One of you said that you wanted to fly, wanted to be a pilot, and be an astronaut. So that's another area. And further into areas like fluid mechanics. So you can learn all this and more. But I just want to say, remember, as you read more, you'll find you're able to read more difficult, more complicated stuff. But still, the motivation is the same. We are reading because reading is very enjoyable. Reading is fun. So it's time to say goodbye. And a big thank you to Brother Shajan Anthony of Little Flower School and to the teachers and students who have worked with me today. Special thanks to Sibha, Advik, Ritvik, and Vidisha. Sorry if I've mispronounced your names. I'm really sorry about that. Thank you to Sana of the Reading Forum, to Annie ma'am, and to the other teachers, Kezia and Asra, who joined me the other day. And thank you to all of you out there, especially the students who have listened, who have read, who have interacted on these rather strenuous chats with so much energy and so much joy. So now I have to say goodbye from Boodle, Jonathan, and me. Meow. Oh, I forgot. Goodbye from a cavity too. That mystery cat. You never know when he will appear or disappear. Macavity, the session is over. Now, I don't know where he's gone. Anyway, goodbye from all of us and see you soon.
Thank you, ma'am, for those wonderful stories. Thank you for the interesting interaction with our students and the wonderful activities that made it so much fun. You have indeed filled us with the joy of reading. We have always been fortunate to be guided by the captain of our ship, our principal, Reverend Brother Shajan Anthony, who has encouraged many creative activities to enhance the skills of our little Florians. I now call upon Reverend Brother to share his message with our readers.
Yeah, good evening, John.
Good evening,
Good evening, brother.
Good evening, brother.
Good evening,
Very
brother.
well.
Good
I
evening.
thought I will start with the meow, the mystery cat. So, to be vague. So thank you, Miss Talita Madam, for spending a time with us this evening, along with our children. Madam Animal Madam, and there are Sana, there are many teachers who have been accompanying the reading form for this evening along with the parents. I would like to thank and appreciate Ms. Talita for taking out her time and conducting an impactful and extremely very useful session for the students. It was indeed very refreshing, and one helped us to reflect a lot of things. Yeah, one of the very fascinating story of Jana the Seagull, which I must have read around 40 years before. So today you brought me back to the same the feelings when we were in the training periods we used to read, and the last few of lessons that you taught from that flying lesson, very interesting. And for all the teachers, it's different ways of teaching through the stories. So it was really fun to be with children and listening to different ways of storytelling, and also it's a fun reading forum taking of a good initiative. A word of advice to budding readers, I'm really happy that more than 131 times came and the students have joined, and we started this forum to encourage the concept of reading, and not just from a textbook, but reading is an essential hobby and a life skill. I was happy to learn from Sudhi that the first quotation that she quoted, that is the more you read, the more you know. The more you know, the more places. Very happy when when you read, as Madam Tadila said, our minds will go on to the places where they are. So reading is a very good habit that you need to develop in life. Good books can inform you, enlighten you, and lead you in the right direction. There is no better companion than a good book. When you start loving the habit of reading, you eventually get addicted to it. Like these days, children are addicted to the interesting game of PUBG. So I think the reading habit will substitute the PUBG game. Reading develops language skills and vocabulary too. Yeah, very fascinating, as ma'am said. When ma'am just asked a few of your interaction or the words vocabulary. Oh, it was like in the ocean or the river type. You just came out with a lot of vocabulary. Very fascinating to see dear children. Reading books open up a whole world in front of us. help us to develop your imagination and to build up your character too. So reading books is also way to relax and reduce stress, especially during this pandemic time when you are stressed. When a good companion for reading will reduce our stress. It's important to read a book at least for a few minutes of each day to stretch out our muscles. So I appreciate once again our staff members and the teachers who are encouraging you to the reading forum, and especially all the parents who are joined today to encourage the grandchildren or your own kids for this reading forum. And I wish you all the best. And I am, because of this enthusiastic movement, maybe next week we will be starting of our club activities. On 14th, we will be initiated of our officially of our reading forum and also other club activities in the school. So may this enthusiasm be ever flourish, and may you get a lot of energy to be a creative children of Little Flower. Thank you once again. So I don't need to give a meow for goodbye. So goodbye to all. Thank you.
You seem to really enjoy that meow, right?
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, teachers and students. Goodbye.
Thank you, brother, for those inspiring words and very apt advice. No matter what language you speak, a kind and smiling thank you always speaks to everyone's heart. As we now come to the end of today's program, I would like to invite Ms. Sahasra to propose the vote of thanks.
A grateful heart is a magnet for miracles. Gratitude paints little smiley faces on everything it touches. At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. It is our responsibility to thank those who have lighted the flame within us. On this note, I would like to propose a vote of thanks. First, I would like to thank God for letting us experience another beautiful day. I thank Reverend Brother Shajan Anthony for giving us this opportunity to be a part of this program. I thank Ms. Talita Matthew for inspiring us to read more and learn more. My special thanks to the academic coordinators, Ms. Albinia ma'am, Ms. Anuman ma'am, and Ms. Marianne ma'am for their support, and Ms. Sana ma'am for her efforts in organizing this program. Finally, I thank all the students who took part in this program, shared their views, and made it a much more interactive session. Today, we have clearly understood that reading gives us some place to go when we have to stay where we are. A big thank you to each one of you once again. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining us today. Hope you all had as much fun as I did. We formally end the program today. Thank you and stay blessed.